December. A time of reflection. It's a time to be merry. And most important, it's a time for family and friends. The lights are up, the trees are decorated, and all the gifts for family and friends have arrived from our binge on Amazon. All that's left is Grandpa's special eggnog at that yearly holiday party. And finally, Christmas vacation. I've actually got a few bucks left over with no plans on how to spend it. Well, let's see what I can do to resolve that problem. So this year, I've got a few $100s left over after all of our holiday spending. But what can I do with it that would be a cool and interesting project? Well, I'm going to build a computer with it, of course. I've been asked on a few occasions over the past couple of years whether it would be a better buy to get a console over a PC. My answer to each variation of this question tends to be the same. If all you're looking to do is game and have a somewhat quiet media center in your living room, well, then a console pretty much is the way to go. But if you're someone looking to do much more than gaming, whether that's working with Microsoft Word or doing photo editing or doing video editing or recording, streaming, and any other number of things that a PC is versatile in doing, well, then a PC just might be the right course. So the choice was made to get a PC. But all we have to spend is about the money that we would spend on a high-end console, which is about $500, the price of which an Xbox One X is going for. But is that going to be enough? Can I really build a good system that's enough to play games and run the rest of any modern software that I might want to use? Well, yeah, of course it will be, or it should be, and that's what this video is really about. So for this festive build, we're going to look at what routes we can go to get a decent system for all the tasks one might want to use a PC for, and hopefully be as powerful as an Xbox One. So let's look at the goals of what we want our build to be. I would say to start that we want to look for a CPU with something in the 4-core range as a minimum. We want at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. I would definitely like an SSD if the budget allows. If not, we'll just get a standard hard drive. A compatible motherboard, a video card that's capable of running any of the various games that we want to play, and of course a case, power supply, and peripherals. Since I already have a TV I plan on running this system on, I won't need to get a monitor. My first thoughts right off the bat was to go ahead and build an entry-level Ryzen 3 system, which is something I have been wanting to do for some time now. So after spending some time on my favorite part list site, PCPartPicker.com, I came up with what I thought was a very modest entry-level general purpose rig. The Ryzen 3 1200 is a great little processor. It's a 4-core, 4-thread CPU and can overclock to 3.8 to 3.9 gigahertz on some occasion. And this makes for a very, very nice budget CPU. There are plenty of decent B350 boards that can handle this type of an overclock with this little CPU, and they come at great prices. Memory won't be too bad, as we'll be going with a 2x4 gigabyte DDR4 2400 kit. If budget allows, maybe I will go up to DDR4 3000 or maybe even 3200, but that will all depend on prices. And there are plenty of video cards to choose from at the $150 to $200 range that I'm looking at. But unfortunately, no matter what I did parts-wise, it blew our budget by over $100. Even going down to something like a GTX 1050 or something a little bit lower than that in that range on the AMD side still put the budget way out of range. Kind of a bummer, but all is not lost. I am also a huge fan of buying used parts, and I bet we can find some great deals going this route. So my first visit is going to be on eBay. So what I found for $179.99 plus free shipping was a Dell Optiplex 7010 with 8 gigabytes of DDR3 1600 memory. It's a 2x4 kit, an i7 377000 and 500 gigabyte hard drive that had Windows 10 already installed. Yes, this is several generations old, but the i7 3770 still packs a punch. It performs a little bit better than a current Ryzen 3 1300X. I get 4 cores and 8 threads with a maximum boost speed of 3.9 gigahertz, which should be plenty for everything this system is going to need to do. So with the system purchased and out of the way with all the major components, I have $275 left over for additional parts. I picked up a Zotac GTX 1050 Ti Mini off of Amazon during a quick sale at $139.99. It's now listed at $159.99. I picked up an ADATA 256 gigabyte SSD, also off of Amazon for $79.99, and then picked up a used pair of 2x8 gigabyte DDR3 2133 memory off of eBay for $35, which could bump my total memory up to 24 gigabytes. The memory I took a chance on. If I can get it to run the 2x8 gigabyte sticks at 2133, that's a huge bonus. If not, then hopefully it will be compatible with the 2x4 gigabyte sticks to give me 24 gigabytes of overall system memory running at DDR3 1600. The video card was also a tough choice. The Dell does have an 80 plus gold 275 watt power supply, but it has no PCI power connections. Now, I could have gotten a GTX 1060 that does include those Molex to PCI adapters, but at this point I wasn't quite sure what kind of a power draw I was going to have, and I really didn't want to push this Dell PCU too much. So after all of my purchases, my total came to $435. $450 if I hadn't got the great deal on that 1050 Ti Mini. So that leaves me with a whopping $65 left over for a mouse and keyboard. So I'm going to call this $65 a savings over a console. But anyone going this route can easily pick up a decent keyboard and mouse for this amount, and you can pick up one of these little controllers on Amazon for $35 right now. So how does it perform? The big question that probably everybody is wondering at this stage in the game. Well, why don't we go ahead and take a look. I've used a few games that I've been playing on and off on a regular basis. Most of these games are pretty system intense on their higher setting levels, and they're pretty popular games in general. All right, so we've got all of our frames per second, our settings, and we've got the games out of the way. It does pretty decent for what it is. But what about power draw? Under full load, I'm barely pulling 250 watts at the wall, and I'm using a kilowatt to measure that power draw at the wall. And that 250 watts is rendering with both Adobe Premiere and Media Encoder for 10 minutes. Gaming keeps that load down to under 150 watts, and I can game at near max quality at 1080p on most of the games I've been testing. So, conclusion, this computer is a wonderful computer to get anyone into PC gaming and the PC in general. So overall, this computer has done quite well for the price I paid. You just can't beat that, $450 for a full-blown gaming rig. So thank you very much for watching. I really do enjoy these budget systems. They're fun, they're inexpensive, budget, and they turn out to do far better than what I think they will. Have any comments on how to improve this budget build, or can you build a more modern system for less? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on that little bell to receive notifications when new videos come out. So stay tuned for my next video where I will be doing a holiday themed build. I'm going to build my own case, or attempt to build my own case, and use some hardware that I have laying around to fill that case. But until then, I hope you all have yourselves a very Merry Christmas, have a very wonderful Happy Holiday, and I look forward to the new year with you guys. Stay tuned.